Hi guys, I'm Julie from Mojo's Crazy Kitchen, and I'm here to show you how to grow sprouts easy at home. I use a lot of sprouts in different cooks that I post online, so I've been asked how I grow them. I ordered these lids if you want to just start out with a really cheap way to do it. Fits a wide mouth mason jar, and these are like microfiber inside here, if you can see how small those are. Okay, and so the alfalfa seeds aren't supposed to come out of that. This is real easy. I'm going to try to update this every 6 days or so and just show you what I'm doing. I'm going to put them in the jar, and I'm also going to use this tray that I also got from Amazon to show you how to do it. So here we go. I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of alfalfa seeds in this jar. That's going to be plenty for the jar, for the seed tray that I have here. And this is all I do. I fill the jar up with, I usually go with just a warm, not super cold, but not hot water either by any means. Just warm or cold, either way. I just fill them up, the jars. And I first do this to rinse them. I swirl them around a little bit in there. I let it drain, and I always let it drain at an angle because if you put it straight down, it doesn't drain right. So, and because there's so many seeds in here, just to kind of hurry this up, I'm going to shake it a little bit to show you. I usually rinse them off once first, okay, and sometimes there's little air bubbles on them, that's why I shake them around a little bit. Okay, this is all I'm going to do to start them out. After I rinse off the seeds one time, you can do it however many times you feel comfortable with, but this is just how I do it. Alright, that's about good enough for me here. Okay, then a lot of times I run it back through the water through the top to make any seeds that are stuck in the lid come back out. Okay, and then I'm just going to fill this jar with water and let it sit for between 12 and 24 hours. If the seeds are really new, 12 hours is usually long enough. If they're older, I find that letting them soak a little while longer. And I just soak them. That's it. I just put them in the sink, soak them. And usually change the water maybe once during that process, but that's about it. Now I'm going to do another experiment with this. I'm going to pause the video for just a minute, and I'm going to do the same thing with this jar, but I'm only going to put a small amount in it for arugula. I'm not sure if it'll come out with sprouts like that, but I love arugula, so we're going to give it a whirl. Okay, so I'm back, and I just picked up this packet of arugula. You can order big bags of it, like more like the alfalfa sprouts. This is the problem. I've noticed they're like $25 for a pound bag or something like that. So before I got too risky with this, I just thought I'd buy a cheap bag of seeds. I'm going to try to see about how many seeds are in this to start out with. It's probably, this is a tablespoon or teaspoon. That's probably a quarter teaspoon in here. So I don't know how this is going to work at all. I've never tried this, but I thought I'd give it a whirl. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to fill it up with cool water. Rinse off the seeds. Let them drain. This is going to drain a little easier because there's not quite as many seeds in there, plugging up all the holes. And I'm going to let them sit. And I'm going to guess again, probably 12 hours on most of these, or overnight. I may go 24. I like to see the shell just kind of crack open a little bit, the husk or whatever you call that on the seed. I'm just going to let them sit. And then I'll check back in and show you the progress day after day. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Julie, and this is day 2 of sprout growing. I've just now drained the water from these to save a little time. Show you how much they've swollen up in just one day. Okay, and some of these I can see kind of opened up, and some haven't yet, but that's all I really wanted it to do. The other thing I forgot to show you was yesterday, you don't have to buy those lids from Amazon or whatever. You could cut screens and you can double them up or triple them up, whatever you have to do, and then just put them in a regular lid and drain them that way. But you want to probably double up the screen because I think those holes are still too big that some of the seeds may fall through. Now the seeds probably won't fall through after you soaked them for a day because they expand. So that's something to consider. These, however, are pretty big holes. They have micro holes on one of the trays I seen online, but I just bought this one as a standard tray. You can also buy what's called seed paper, okay, to do the same little thing that I do. I use a paper towel, okay. What I'm gonna do is I just trim the paper towel. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just trim them to fit inside the tray and to lay flat, okay. I think I'm about there. So that just kind of covers it, you see? Okay, so now, most of the time, this is always a little bit tricky. I'm gonna pound out some of the lids in the seeds in the lid, and I'm gonna take about, I don't know, a little over, probably 2/3 of the seeds. So I'd have about a tablespoon of seeds left in here from what I started with yesterday. And I'm just going to kind of spread these across the paper towel. Now, if you're one of those people that is going to comment that you shouldn't use a paper towel that's got bleach in it and this and that and all that kind of stuff, great. I chewed up so many paper wads as a kid and spit them when I was in school and did that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about it for me. If it bothers you, stop watching the video. I'm just not really that concerned about what the paper towel is going to do to me. If you are, then that's what you have to be concerned about. All right. I'm just going to kind of spread these across here. And I'm going to leave some of these in the jar. And the reason I'm trying to show you both ways to grow them. Okay. All right. Now, these are going to, the biggest problem with the seeds on this for the first few days is the seeds float when you get them wet. So, it's kind of hard to keep them in place. But I don't think I'm going to do too bad here. And I'm going to have a really full tray of sprouts with this amount of seeds on here. So I'm just trying to get it spread across there so you can see what I'm doing. Now these are going to move some. And I've grown them a few times in this tray, so I'm not an expert on it yet. Okay, so I've just spread them around there. But what I can tell you is this, because the seeds are going to float, sometimes it works a little bit better if I fill up my tray first. I knew I was going to spill some. Okay, hold on just a second. There we go. And set it down inside there so it gets the paper towel wet and the seeds all wet without making them float where you just got it out of there. Now, if I didn't fill it up quite full enough because I spilled out just a little bit, you see, as soon as I add it in, the seeds want to move. So that's why I usually try to fill it up from the base. But after that, I mean, it's not hard. You can just push them back around. But after a few days, I change the water on this twice a day usually. Sometimes I forget and I've done it once. But as long as the paper towel remains wet, you're not going to have too much difficulty. But again, then I just drain it that way. And that should be enough to keep them wet and keep them still growing. Now in the jar, I just return the lid back on them. And that's about all I have left in here. Get all the water out. And then I just kind of shake them around in here so they stick to the outside of the jar some. That way they're not like just soaking in water. And then I put it at an angle again in my sink. You can also put it in a bowl like this and drain it and put a paper towel in it or something so that you don't have a big puddle of water in it if you don't have a rack that it works on in your sink. But that way you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing. Now, these are the arugula seeds. I have no idea how these are going to go at all, or if they're going to go. I'm going to just try to grow them in the jar first. I can't seem to get the rest of the water out of there. I don't know if it's because some of the seeds are plugging it up. I'm not positive there. You can see a little bit of water in there. Like I said, this is the first time I've done it with this. Maybe I'll switch out the lids here. I'll put the screened lids on there. Well, yeah, those seeds are just that fine that it kind of covers up part of that. If you can see them, I switched it. It was big enough to hold it in there, but I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to drain it. It'd probably finish draining with this lid too, but either way, you get the idea. And I water them, like I said, twice a day and let them drain. That's it. That's all you're going to do repetitively for days and days and days. Don't overthink it. It's not that big a process. You don't have to set a timer and do it every 12 hours. Just make sure the seeds are wet and that you drain them every day. Day 3 coming up. after spending a little time with this arugula, I can see that they're really small and they're sticking to the lid and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these all out of here, and I paper towel line the green lid that had the microfiber, and I'm going to use that like the seed tray because I don't have a ton in here as it is. But I can see these are going to get stuck. It's almost like they have like a little jelly coating on them, which makes them really, really sticky. I haven't noticed that like with the alfalfa sprouts. So I'm just going to put these seeds, going to transfer them all onto this and spread them out, and I'll take a picture of it and show you. I think that's how I'm going to try to grow these. I think they're not going to work as well in the jar.